I keep my mum's lights on from my desk at the registrar's office. My name is Zariah Hayes. I'm 39, single, and I live 12 minutes from my mum, Virginia, in a one-bedroom apartment with a view of a parking lot. Mum just turned 70 on Thursday. She's proud, stubborn about her independence, and her knees hate the steep basement stairs in her little bungalow. I'm an administrative assistant at the community college on Pine. My day is calls and forms and people who need a clear answer. Between 12:15 and 12:45 most days, I become the person who keeps things running for Mum. This week, I took my lunch break on Tuesday, drove the 12 minutes, and swapped her pill organiser because the pharmacy put the amlodipine in a different bottle, and she didn't like the new label. I wiped the counter crumbs, put the Tuesday night dinner leftovers in smaller containers, and left a fresh gallon of milk from my trunk. I keep detergent back there too, Tide Pods and bleach, because if I bring it up in one trip, I can carry the laundry basket down instead of her. 20 steps down, 20 back up. My arms know the count. We got into a system. I set up autopay for Mum's basic stuff because the online thing makes her anxious. City utilities and gas on my card, confirmation emails to me, her rent still by cheque like always because she trusts the envelope. The receipts have been stacking in my kitchen drawer since January, curled and rubber banded, out of sight until I needed to show them. In March, when my Civic sat in the shop for 4 days waiting on a fuel pump, I Ubered her to a clinic appointment and back. I bought groceries 3 times when her cheque dipped because property taxes came due and stretched everything thin. None of it felt heroic. It felt like the thing you do when you're the one closest. Closest has a way of turning into default without anyone saying it out loud. Krista is my sister. She's 36, a 3rd grade teacher, and has 2 kids who are always either in soccer or a science fair. She lives 30 minutes away in a subdivision with cul-de-sacs and a community pool. She's excellent at planning and excellent at assigning. Her messages in the family chat are bright and breezy. Got it! We'll figure it out. And then silence. Gregory is 42, our brother, a mechanic at Dorsey's Auto. He's practical, hands good at replacing a timing belt, and allergic to conflict. Ask him to fix a hinge, he's there. Ask him to referee, he evaporates. Mum's neighbour Quinn is retired, mail carrier for almost 40 years, the kind who still notices when a porch light burns out. He has my number because he insisted on it. You'd want someone to tell you, he said, handing me a misdelivered catalogue and a look that said he would. Cousin Natalia planned Mum's party for Saturday, today, at her place. 3 p.m. arrival, cake at 4:30, she texted in the group chat, followed by a photo of a sheet cake order form with Virginia at 70, penciled in looping script. Natalia is the kind of cousin who makes sign-up sheets for potlucks and still asks if you want to change your mind about your dish. I told her I'd bring fruit salad and crusty bread. Krista replied with a string of camera emojis because she made a slideshow. Gregory sent a thumbs up and a "I'll be there after work." Mum called me to say she didn't need a fuss. 70 is just a number, she said, then paused. Do you think everyone will like lemon icing? I said yes, of course. Last night, after I cleaned my sink, I pulled the rubber band off the receipts and printed the ones I didn't have. 6 months of utilities, co-pays, groceries, 2 ride shares. I slid them into a manila envelope and wrote Mom on the tab. I don't like confrontation. I like lists and exact change. But the drawer of receipts felt like a secret I was keeping from everyone, including myself. If I was going to keep being the helper, I wanted us all to see the shape of it. If I wasn't, I wanted to say it while there was cake. And witnesses, and people who loved Mom enough to show up. This morning, I ironed a sundress I only wear to baptisms and birthdays. Blue with white flowers. I set the envelope in my purse, next to my keys, and a travel-size bottle of lotion. I grabbed the fruit salad, watermelon, strawberries, blueberries, juice pooling at the bottom, and the bread. On my kitchen table, my phone lit up with Natalia's reminder. Parking is tight, street only, see you soon. And Krista's selfie of balloons in her back seat. Greg sent, on my way. On the drive over, the AC in my Civic wheezed like it needed its own appointment. I counted the lights out of habit. 3 to get off Pine, 2 more past the library, 4 to Natalia's neighbourhood. Mum called as I turned onto her block. Do I need to bring anything? She asked, which is her way of asking if she's allowed to just be celebrated. Just your pretty self, I said, which made her snort. I parked half a block down under a maple that still had last year's Samaras stuck in its bark. I balanced the bowl and the bread on my hip, felt the envelope bump against my rib cage in my purse, and walked up the lawn toward the porch where Natalia had taped a homemade sign with arrows and balloons. At the doorway, the sound of voices, and one off-key laugh spilled out, and there was Krista already in the entryway, shoulder to the banister, holding court like a hostess, like a fixer, smiling like she'd solved us. Natalia's foyer smelled like lemon cleaner and buttercream. I shifted the fruit bowl on my hip and stepped in. You made it! Natalia took the bread out of my other hand and kissed the air near my cheek. Kitchen straight back. Mum's in the living room with the photo board. Cake at 4:30. I'm running a little behind on the candles. Krista's voice floated from the staircase. I have the slideshow cued. Don't let anyone slice before the song, okay? She grinned at me like we were partners in a surprise. Hi, Z. Hey. I towed off my flats on the mat and found Mum by the couch, standing next to a poster board full of pictures. Mum touched the corner of a black and white one like it might slip. In it she was 20, hair like a storm cloud, next to my dad, and a car that no longer exists. You look good, I said, and meant it. She wore the blue sweater I'd brought by last month, and the pearl earrings she saves for everything important. I feel bossed, she said, smiling at the board. Natalia wouldn't let me bring devilled eggs. Host's orders, Natalia called from the kitchen. Gregory slid in 20 minutes later, smelling faintly like oil and late afternoon. Hey, Ma, he said, hugging her, then me, then reaching for a chip. He wore his shop shirt with Greg stitched in red above the pocket. Traffic was a mess on 19. That's because they're patching that pothole finally, I said. About time, he said, already drifting toward the kitchen. Natalia did what Natalia does. Circulated, nudged people to sit, adjusted the thermostat, turned down the lights a notch. She pointed at the dining table. Food's there. Drink's there. Basil plant is mine. Please don't water it with punch. The cake sat in the centre like a centrepiece, white frosting edged with piped shells. Virginia at 70, looped in green. 10 tall candles in a pack on the counter waited for someone's hands. At 4:30 on the dot, Natalia tapped the light switch with her elbow and dimmed the dining room. Okay, family, she said, adding that stage manager clap she uses to get our attention. Let's get Mom in here. We shuffled, plates and phones in hand, people calling for kids to quiet down. Mom stood at the head of the table, eyes shining in the candlelight even before the candles were lit. Krista cleared her throat and tapped a butter knife to a water glass. The sound pinged over the room. Quick thing before we do the song, she said, bright, a little breathless from all eyes landing on her. I just wanted to share some good news so everyone's on the same page moving forward. She looked at me like she was handing me a bouquet. Zariah's moving in with Mom to help with care, since she's closest and, free, so we're covered. It took half a beat for the words to land. Then heads nodded, like someone had announced a weather forecast. Aunt Deidre actually clapped once. That makes sense, someone said near the punch. Bless you, baby, someone else murmured. My cheeks went hot, ears too. Free. The word buzzed in my head like a gnat. I set my plate down and reached into my purse. The manila envelope was cool and thick under my fingers. I walked to the sideboard where Natalia had set up the clear punch bowl, ladle floating, orange slices spinning. I set the envelope beside it, between the napkins and the stack of small plates. Before we plan my life, I said, louder than felt polite, but not a yell, we should look at what the last 6 months have looked like. The room did that ripple thing. Some people leaned in, a few looked at Krista, a few at me. Krista's smile froze a half-inch from real. Z, she said, voice still sugar. We can talk later. We can, I said, but I'd like to do this now, since everyone's here. Mum looked small for a second, mouth quirking like a line got crossed. Honey, she said, not sure if she was warning me or asking me to explain. It's just receipts, I said to her softer. Utilities, groceries, co-pays, I've been keeping track. I picked up the envelope and slid my finger under the flap. It made a clean sound, paper against paper. Gregory shifted his weight, eyes on the tablecloth pattern. Natalia hovered near the cake with the lighter but didn't flick it yet. Let's hear her out, she said, steady. Krista stepped closer, palm up as if to calm the air. Zariah, this isn't necessary. We all pitch in. She nodded toward the slideshow paused on the TV. Teenage Krista with braces frozen mid-laugh. It's Mum's day. That's why I brought it, I said. It's for Mum. I tilted the envelope toward the table and slid out the top receipt. The thermal paper curled, the ink a little faded at the edges. It was the water bill from April, the one with the late fee we avoided because I paid it on my lunch break. All eyes went to the envelope, then the strip of paper in my hand, then back to my face. The candles on the counter still waited, wicks clean and white. The ladle knocked the side of the punch bowl with a small hollow sound. I flattened the water bill against the tablecloth so the corner wouldn't curl back up. This is April, I said. I paid it on my lunch break so we didn't get the late fee. March looks the same. I slid it aside and pulled out a pharmacy printout, then a grocery receipt with a smear of something red on the edge from when the strawberries leaked. These are meds. Groceries the weeks her check ran short after property taxes. Utilities? 2 ride shares when my car was at Dorsey's waiting on a fuel pump. A murmur rolled around the table like someone had turned a fan on low. Natalia edged closer with a legal pad she must have fished from a drawer. She didn't write yet. She just held the pen. Krista laughed, light and sharp. Z! We all do this stuff. You're being dramatic. She gestured toward Mom with her chin. She's our mother. You're closest. You're free. The word made my shoulders creep up. I took my phone from my purse, opened the calculator and started tapping. I didn't go line by line in front of everyone. No one needed to know the exact price of her amlodipine or the brand of detergent I buy. I just added each subtotal I'd highlighted last night. I turned the phone so the screen faced the room. $3,247.18. That's the last 6 months, out of my pocket. Gregory stopped leaning, stood up straighter. He wasn't looking at me. He was counting in his head, eyes going to some middle distance they use when they're working out a job estimate. That all tracks, he said quietly, almost to himself. Mom's hand went to her sweater like she was smoothing lint. I didn't know it was that much, she said, voice small. She looked guilty and mad at the same time, guilty I'd paid it, mad at the world it needed to be paid. It adds up, I said, softer to her. It's also time. Appointments. Stairs. I didn't say laundry baskets or pill bottles or the way I planned my lunch break around pharmacy windows. I didn't want to make her feel like a burden. I wanted the room to see a weight without me putting it on her shoulders. Krista folded her arms. We can settle up later. Today's not the day for invoices. It's not invoices, I said. It's a plan. Natalia finally clicked her pen. Okay, she said, calm, like she was getting a field trip in order. What do you need, Zariah? Specifics, I breathed out. 2 things. 1, reimburse fairly. We split this between the 3 of us who are able, me, Krista and Gregory, so I'm not carrying it alone. 2, we set a rotation. Weeks. Someone is on for meds, groceries, rides and check-ins. That person puts their name on the calendar. If no one takes a week, it stays blank and we figure it out together, not by default to me. The words felt tidy coming out. I kept my voice level. Gregory nodded once, still thinking. Weeks make sense, he said. My schedule's easier to juggle if I know it's coming. Krista's mouth made a perfect O of disbelief. A rotation? We're not a nursing home. And why are we talking about money like you're a service? You live 12 minutes away, Z. It's easiest. Easiest for who? I asked. For Mom, she snapped, then pasted the smile back on. This is unnecessary. I reached into my purse and slid my keys off the ring. The small brass one for Mum's back door was a little worn smooth. I put it on the table by the punch bowl, next to the envelope. This sits here until we agree like adults, I said. If we can't, I step back by Monday. I cancel the autopays. I don't fill in blank weeks alone. We figure it out as a family, or we don't, but I'm done being the default. A hush dropped over the room that made the refrigerator hum in Natalia's kitchen suddenly very loud. Someone's kid whispered, and then a shush. Mum's eyes flicked to the key. Don't be dramatic, she said, but it wasn't unkind. It was tired. I'm not trying to embarrass you, I said to her. I should have said something earlier. That's on me. Krista took a step forward, palms out. You wouldn't, she said, smile gone now, every syllable clipped. I kept my hands flat on the table edge so they wouldn't shake. Watch me. Gregory cleared his throat. What if we... He stopped when Krista shot him a look. He put his hands in his pockets instead. Natalia's eyes cut to the unlit candles, then back to us. She slid the legal pad onto the table, drew 3 columns. Names, she said quietly. Weeks. She didn't assign. She just left the pen there like a dare. No one picked it up. Mum reached for the envelope and touched it like you might touch something that might bite. Let's do the song, she said into the quiet, voice steadying. Then we can talk. She lifted her chin, that old pride slipping back into place like a coat. Natalia struck the lighter. The candles flared and settled. We sang a little off-key. Mum closed her eyes and blew them out in one breath, the smoke curling up as if the room needed a signal the moment was over. But the key stayed on the table, catching the light from the kitchen window, and the number on my phone sat in the back of everyone's mind, refusing to fade. Monday at 8:12 a.m, I logged into the utility portals from my desk at the registrar's office and took my card off everything I'd set and forgotten. City utilities. Auto payoff. Gas. Remove card ending 4821. I sent polite messages because that's the tone that gets you a response. Subject. Autopay cancellation for Virginia Hayes, Mum's address. Hello. Please confirm removal of my card on file and cancellation of autopay for the above account. Billing should revert to paper. Thank you, Zariah, authorised user. Confirmations pinged back in my inbox by 9:03 and 9:17. I screenshotted both and slid them into a folder labelled Mom Receipts. At 9:30, I texted the family chat, me, Krista, Gregory, and Natalia, with a Google Sheet link. Me. Here's a clean sign-up for weeks, starting today. Columns are week of, on call, backup, please pick your weeks. Link, Mom Care Rotation, June. Me. Total out of pocket. Jan-June, 3,247 18s. Please reimburse by Friday 5 p.m. So we start even. Me. If a week stays blank, it stays blank. No default to me. The 3 dots bubbled and vanished. Then nothing. Work carried me until 5. Students asking about transfer credits, a printer jam, a stack of envelopes to stuff. My hands did the task they know. My head buzzed like a light about to burn out. At 7:22 p.m, Mum left a voicemail. It's me. I liked the cake. Lemon was the right call. Thank you for keeping track of things. I didn't know it was so much. Anyway. I love you. Her voice caught on much, just enough to scratch my throat from the inside. I sat in my car in the community college lot and cried into my sleeve until it passed. Then I put the phone face down on the passenger seat and drove home. Tuesday, 11:06 a.m, my desk phone rang. This is Rita from Dr. Singh's office, a bright voice said. We had Virginia down for 10 o'clock and she didn't arrive. Can we reschedule? She didn't have a ride, I said before I could stop myself. Then I made my voice steadier. Please call her to reschedule and also add these as primary contacts. I read her Krista's number and Gregory's, then asked to be moved to alternate, Rita typed. Got it. Do Wednesdays work better? I'm not sure, I said. Call her first. One of us will confirm. I texted the group chat. Me. Clinic says Mom missed a 10 a.m. I gave them your numbers. Please reschedule and put it on the sheet. Link again. No names appeared in the on-call column. The week of June 5 row blinked at me like it was trying to get my attention. By Wednesday morning, the quiet around the spreadsheet felt like a dare. I kept my hands on my own side of the rope. At 10:41 a.m, Quinn texted me a photo. A yellow tag slapped on Mum's screen door. Quinn. Saw this on Virginia's just now. Thought you'd want to know. The tag said, in black block letters, service interruption warning, gas, balance due, pay to avoid shutoff. Below it, amount, $158.40 tolls. Due by Friday, 5 p.m. Someone had initialed it in blue. My stomach dropped and then floated. Not panic exactly, just the cold recognition of what I'd been propping up. I forwarded the photo to the group chat and added, deadline stands. Slots are empty. This is what blank looks like. Krista read it. Her little face popped up under the message. No reply. Gregory didn't even open it for a few minutes. I set my phone face down again and filed transcripts until lunch. At 12:20, I ate a yogurt and stared at the Google sheet. The rows were still bare. Week of June 12th, June 19th, June 26th, all as clean as a new calendar. I clicked the tab for notes and typed, utilities now paper billing, bills will arrive at Mom's. Whoever's on call handles and logs payment in notes with dates amount. Natalia texted separately at 1:05. Natalia, do you want me to nudge or stay out of the way? Me. You can post the link again. I'm not adding more. Natalia. Copy. Posting link. A minute later, the link pinged again in the family chat with Natalia's name above it. No confetti, no emojis. At 4:02, my phone buzzed with another voicemail from Mom. Quinn said there's a yellow thing. I'm fine. I have blankets if it gets cold. Don't worry. She paused. I'm not hungry either. Cake took the edge off. She was trying to make it light. It made me grip the edge of my desk until the knuckles went white. I didn't call back right away. I signed 2 more forms and walked them to admissions. I sorted campus mail. I answered a question about parking permits like nothing outside that office existed. Back at my desk, I opened the family chat and typed slowly, so I didn't say anything I couldn't stand by later. The plan hasn't changed. Reimburse by Friday 5 p.m. Choose your weeks. If the calendar is blank, it's blank. I'm not filling it in for you. Then I closed the app and let the quiet do what I haven't let it do in months, make everyone else hear it. The replies started an hour after I sent the photo of the yellow tag. Krista, this is cruel, Z. You're punishing Mom to make a point to me. Krista, weaponizing logistics. Really? I stared at weaponizing and reread it twice. Then I typed, me. Boundaries aren't punishment. Bills are real. The notice says Friday 5 p.m. Whoever's on this week handles it. That's the deal. Gregory chimed in 5 minutes later. Gregory, let's not fight in here. We can figure the weeks. Can someone resend the link? Natalia. On it. Natalia. Mom care rotation, June. Same link. I added a bills handled column so we can note what was paid. She followed with a second message, neat as if it were on a whiteboard. Natalia. Proposal. June has 4 weeks. 3 of you rotate. Each takes a week. For reimbursements, total $3,847.18 split. Once $9.23 to $59 each from Krista plus Gregory to Zariah by Friday 5 p.m. Then you start clean. Sound fair? Krista's typing bubbles bobbed, then stopped. Krista, I'm not Venmoing you for being a daughter. I buy things for Mum too. I just don't keep receipts because she's not a job. I breathed out through my nose and kept it steady. Me. This isn't about labels. It's about math. I took on bills to keep her from shutoffs because the online thing stressed her out. That's fine if we all agree. It's not fine if it's just me. Gregory, I can do some weeks. My schedule is tight, but if I know ahead, I can move a couple oil changes around. Let's put names down. Krista. Krista. I have the kids' soccer tournament this weekend. An open house next week. It's not that easy. Me. That's why it's a rotation. We pick weeks that work. Backup is listed. I thought for a second and added what I'd been sitting on. Me. Also, whoever's on call gets a small stipend for gas time. 50 week, cash or jar at Mum's. It keeps incidental costs from being hidden. Krista. We are family. We don't pay each other to help our mother. Me. Exactly. We're family. We don't make one person do it for free while the rest say thank you. Stipend is for whoever's week it is. If it's you, it's you. Gregory. $50 seems reasonable. Gas is not free. Natalia, the stipend helps. I'll add a stipend-paid checkbox to the sheet so it's not awkward. Krista sent the eye-roll emoji. Then, I'll think about it tonight. I need to feed my kids. I put my phone face down and let the conversation end where it did. No one typed their name into week of June 5th. The warning tag sat on my camera roll like a dare. Thursday was slow at work. Summer does that. Before lunch, I checked the sheet again. Still blank. No bills handled notes. I resisted the muscle memory of logging into city utilities. I ate a sandwich outside on the concrete step behind the building and texted Mum. Me. How are you feeling today? Mum. Fine. Don't fuss. Quinn took my paper out from the bushes. He's nosy. Me. He cares. Did anyone call about the clinic appointment? Mum. A lady called. I told her to ask you, but if you want me to ask Krista, I can. Me. Give them Krista's number and Gregory's. I'm stepping back so we can be fair. Mum. Okay. Lemon icing was good. At 2:48, Natalia posted a screenshot of the sheet in the chat, with the cursor blinking in the empty on-call cells. Natalia. Gentle nudge. We need names by end of day. Otherwise, blank means blank. Bills included. Krista. Stop. We get it. I have a job too. Gregory. We all do. Let's just pick. I can't today. Maybe tomorrow I can swing by after work to drop off groceries if needed. Me. Groceries go with the week. Whoever's on handles it. Please put your name down if you're offering, so Mum knows who's coming. A long pause. Nothing changed on the sheet. That evening, I silenced the chat and washed my dishes. I put a load of towels in my own washer and thought of Mum's 20 steps down, 20 up. I did not drive over. I answered a call from Sejay about brunch Sunday and put it in my calendar like a dare to myself to protect it. By bedtime, there was still no notification from the utility portal because I wasn't on it anymore. I lay in the dark, phone face down, hand itching for it anyway. I let that itch pass. Friday, 7:51 a.m, I checked the sheet before I brushed my teeth. Still blank. The notes tab had one line from Natalia. Shut off, warning due. Friday, 5 p.m. I made coffee and sat on the edge of my bed. The chat pinged. Krista, I can't do this week. I'll look at next week. Gregory, I might be able to do next week too. Let me check with the shop. We've got a couple cars waiting on parts. I didn't type anything. I let the lack of a plan be the plan. At 8:12, Quinn's name flashed on my screen. Quinn, saw your mum on the porch. Asked if she wanted me to pick up anything. She said she'll skip dinner. Not hungry, she said. Thought you should know. My chest tightened and then went cold. I stared at the message, at the word skip, at the rest of the sheet still blank, and the clock that would not stop moving toward 5. I sat on my hands until noon. I answered emails. I stamped 2 transcripts. I ate half a granola bar and put the other half back in the drawer. At 12:04, my phone buzzed with Gregory's name. He didn't bother with hello. I'm at Mars, he said, breath a little winded like he'd taken the stairs fast. Listen! He pulled the phone away and opened the fridge. The hollow echo bounced into my ear. A condiment door rattled. She's got mustard and a jar of pickles, he said, back on the line. That's it. I swallowed. The yellow tag? It's on the door. I'm calling the number. A beat. Give me the account number. It's on the tag under referent. I could see the photo in my head, 6 digits in blue pen. He read it back. Okay. Paper rustled. Also, I'm Venmoing you now. Half of that total you sent. 1,123.59, right? I can't do math and punch in this robot at the same time. My screen blinked with a Venmo notification before he even hung up. Gregory paid you 1,623.59. Note. For Mum. He called back 2 minutes later. Paid $158.40. They said since it's before 5, it'll clear today. I'll text you the confirmation. A screenshot came through. Payment confirmation with a big green check, the amount, date, time, 12 p.m. Then a photo of the counter, 10 minutes after that. eggs, milk, a rotisserie chicken, bread, bananas, a bag of rice, frozen veggies sweating into the plastic, and a bouquet of daisies he must have grabbed by the register without thinking about it. His hand was in the corner of the frame, grease under his nail beds he never gets out all the way. In the group chat, he finally typed, "Gregory, gas paid, groceries here. I'll take this week, and next week if needed." I put my name on the sheet. I refreshed the Google sheet. The week of June 5 row had Gregory in on call. The week of June 12 row had Gregory too. He checked the bills handled box for gas, some $158, 42.69. Krista hadn't said anything since morning. Natalia added her email address to the sheet, and I saw a little coloured circle with a K pop up in the corner, like she'd been nudged into the room. 5 minutes later, my Venmo buzzed again. "Krista paid you $1,623 monthly 9. Note. Fine. Krista. Money sent. I'll take next week. I can't do a stipend because we're not made of money. Gregory. I already put my name on next week. I can move mine if you're actually taking it. Krista. Yes, I'm taking it. Monday through Sunday. I'll take it. Gregory, 2 beats later. Done. I'll switch my second week to the one after. June 19th. On the sheet, his name slid from week of June 12 to week of June 19th. The cursor blinked where he'd been. Me. Stipend is $50 a week to whoever's on. Cash at Mum's. No exceptions. If it's your week, you get it too. Krista. Eye roll emoji. I said what I said. Natalia. Jar on the counter with a label. I can drop off a Sharpie and tape. Gregory. There's a mason jar by the stove with buttons in it. I'll dump it and tape a note. I've got 2 20s and a 10 on me. First week covered. A new photo landed. Greg's hand holding up a ball jar with a strip of masking tape across it. In block letters, he'd written, "On call stipend, $50. The jar sat next to a vase with the daisies shoved in, a little crooked. 2 20s and a 10 lay under the glass like pinned butterflies. Mum's text came through to me, separate. Photo of the chicken in a pan. "He brought flowers," she wrote. "Silly boy." I let my shoulders drop for the first time all week. The rest of Friday ticked by without more drama. I filed the payment screenshot in the Mom Receipts folder. This time not because I was hiding it, but because it's where things live now. Saturday, I stayed out of the way. The chat had little pings. Gregory asking if Mom liked the brown rice cooked soft or with a bite. "Soft," I typed, uninvited. He replied with a thumbs up. Natalia stopping by with a plastic pill organiser for Krista's week. Krista asking where the spare trash bags were, under the sink, Greg said before I could. Sunday afternoon, I drove to the farmer's market with Seijay, drank iced coffee, and came home with peaches. I texted Mum a photo of the prettiest one, and a "love you." She sent back a heart and a sticker of a cartoon lemon wearing sunglasses that she must have found in her keyboard. At 8:03 p.m, Gregory typed in the chat, "Gregory, gas is fine." I turned the burner on to check. Fridge stocked. I put the clinic appointment on the fridge for next week, BC. Rita called back. Monday at 9:30. "Krista, that's you. There's a note with the address." Krista reacted with a K. I went to bed early. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. The rotation on the sheet had 3 weeks filled now. Greg, Krista, Greg. The stipend pay boxes were checked for this week, blank for the next 2. The jar in Greg's photo had that first $50 ready. At 5:02 a.m, Monday, my phone lit up on the nightstand. It buzzed once and then went quiet because of Do Not Disturb, but the preview still slid across the screen. Krista, what time are Mum's meds again? A minute later, Krista, where's the list? I rolled over and let the screen go dark. The jar on the counter was there. The calendar was taped to the fridge. My week was blank on purpose. Krista's text stacked up while my phone was still on Do Not Disturb. Krista, what time are Mum's meds again? Krista, where's the list? At 7:10 a.m, I slid the switch off D&D and answered without inviting more. Me. Picture attached. Same organiser I've used. Top drawer by the stove. Photo of the blue pill organiser, Monday, Sunday labelled, sitting in Mum's top kitchen drawer with the pharmacy printout underneath 3 dots. Then, Krista. Got it. At 8:55, she posted a photo of Mum's porch. The yellow gas tag was gone. In its place, the screen door hung clean, the masking tape, on-call stipend 50 jar, visible on the counter through the kitchen window. Krista. Is the gas situation fixed? Gregory. Paid Friday. See above for confirmation. He reposted the screenshot with the green check. At least that piece was steady. At 9:22, my phone buzzed again. Krista. We're at Dr. Singh's 5 minutes out. Parking sucks. I pictured the clinic lot off Maple with its 3 decent spots and a dozen that require a 3-point turn. I didn't answer. At 10:03, while I was logging transcript requests, a text from Krista landed in the group chat. Krista. On hold with the clinic to reschedule that missed one from last week. They're saying Monday at 9:30 was today's, and we made it. Next follow-up is, I'm still holding. This music is going to kill me. I pictured the looping flute version of a song that used to be on the radio. A minute later, Krista. 28 minutes for the record. Gregory. Welcome to the party. Natalia added a crying, laughing emoji that managed not to be mean. By noon, Krista posted a photo of a grocery cart, the low-sodium soups, the good crackers, greens. At 6:11 p.m, she sent another. Krista. Pharmacy closed. Went at 6:05. They're open again at 9. Mum has enough for tonight and morning, right? Me. Yes. Night pills are in the PM row. Amlodipine in the morning. Alarm on her phone is set for 9. Krista. Thanks. Tuesday, 11:20 a.m, Quinn texted me a photo from his porch. It was of Krista on Mum's steps, carrying the laundry basket up, cheeks red, mouth set in a line. He didn't caption it, just sent it. Then a second message. Quinn. She didn't want help, stubborn like her mama. Me. Thanks for the eyes. Krista's messages changed shape as the week went on. Fewer declarations, more questions, fewer emojis. Tuesday night. Krista. Mum hates the low-sodium soup. She made a face like I poisoned her. Suggestions? Me. Chicken and rice. Use some of Greg's rotisserie, cook the rice soft. Salt at the table for you, lemon for her. Krista. Okay. Wednesday, a quiet ping in the family chat. Krista. I'm sorry I was late today, Mum. I misjudged traffic from school. I'll be earlier tomorrow. Mum reacted with a heart. 10 minutes later, another. Krista. And sorry if I acted like this was simple. It isn't. She didn't put my name in it, but I felt the edge of something soften anyway. At 7:02 p.m, a photo appeared in the chat. Our rotation printed and taped to the fridge with blue painter's tape. The squares had names through the end of the month. Backup had Quinn's number added with emergencies only, written under it in Mom's careful hand. Krista. Here's the calendar. I added the clinic dates and the trash pickup days. Backups listed. We can revisit on the first Saturday of each month. Gregory. Works for me. Natalia. I'll put it on my calendar too so I can remind the room. Later, after the kids were in bed, if I know her schedule, Krista sent me a photo separate from the group. The mason jar, the daisies a little drooped, and 2 20s and a 10 in the glass. Krista. I put $50 in the jar. For whoever's week is next. I'll do that each month, okay? Me. Okay. Thursday. She texted me a picture of the pill organizer again, this time filled correctly. Morning meds in the AM line, PM quiet. Double check, she wrote. I zoomed in, saw she'd gotten it and sent back a thumbs up. She didn't ask where the trash bags were. She must have found them under the sink. She still had her tone sometimes. I can't believe the pharmacy closes at 6 like it's 1989, but it came with a receipt photo. $14 or $19 copay, logged on the sheet, she typed. The bills handled column finally had her initials next to that line. By Friday, Mum sounded more like herself on voicemail. Krista put lemon on that chicken, she said. It's not salt, but it tricks you if you squint. Saturday afternoon, we met at Mum's kitchen table. Natalia brought her legal pad. Gregory brought a pencil and his calm. Krista had a tote bag with practical things. Refill of trash bags, the good crackers Mum likes, a new pair of oven mitts because the old ones had a hole. We went down the list. Rotation stands, weeks assigned through July, backup numbers listed, Greg first for car stuff, me for medical questions, Quinn has eyes on the block if we can't reach anyone. Stipend jar stays. Whoever's on call takes $50 at the start of their week, and the other two split replenishing it before the next. We put a note on the inside of a cabinet. First Saturday of the month, 2 p.m. Review calendar. Krista looked at me, not quite meeting my eyes. It's a lot, she said. Not dramatic, just true. It has been, I said. Not unkind. Also true. We cleaned up the crumbs. Natalia taped the backup list beside the calendar straight so it wouldn't drive her nuts. Mom patted the jar like it was a pet and said, "Label's nice." Sunday dawned quiet. My phone stayed face down. My calendar was blissfully blank. I made coffee, flipped my own eggs, and didn't count anybody's stares. I woke up on Sunday without an alarm and didn't rush. I made pancakes because I wanted pancakes, flipped them until the edges went lacy, and ate two standing at my counter with syrup and sliced peaches from the market. My phone face down on the table stayed where I put it. At 10:18, Seiji texted, "Brunch at 11:30? Tallies." I wiped my hands and said yes. I put on clean jeans, watered the plant on my sill that refuses to die, and left early enough to snag parking. We sat outside and split an omelette like we always do when we can't choose. I told her about the yellow tag and the jar and how the list now lives on Mum's fridge. She listened and didn't give me advice, which is why she's good. "You look lighter," she said, tearing toast. "Keep it that way." "I'm trying," I said. After brunch, I drove toward Mom's, not because anyone texted me, not because a bill was due, because I had an hour and I wanted to see her. I pulled up to her bungalow and saw Quinn on his porch with a crossword and a glass of iced tea. He gave me a little salute like a mailman who can't help himself. Inside, Mum was at the table with the Sunday paper, the comics splayed open. "Look at who's not in a hurry," she said, glasses halfway down her nose. "Guilty!" I washed my hands and pulled an apple from the fruit bowl. I cut it into clean slices the way she likes and slid the plate toward her. She took one and talked about her dad like she'd just left the farm he ran, even though he's been gone 40 years. She told half a story about him losing a boot in the mud and laughing anyway. She stopped in the middle to eat a slice and pick up the thread again. I didn't correct the details or finish the end. I just listened. From my seat, I could see the fridge. The calendar was taped there with blue painter's tape, squares filled through the end of next month. Week of June 19th, Gregory. June 26th, Zariah. In my own handwriting, because I'd taken a week I could manage, rides after work, a Saturday morning grocery run, the kind I could plan for without it swallowing me. Backup had our numbers and Quinn's in neat block letters. On the counter, the mason jar sat next to a new bunch of daisies in a coffee mug, the tape label still straight. On call stipend, $50. 320s were tucked behind the glass. "Krista put those in," Mum said, catching my look. "She said something about making sure it's stocked so no one hemorrhages their gas money." She smiled at the word like it tickled her. "She's bossy, but it helps when it's pointed in the right direction." "How are you feeling?" I asked. "Tired of soup," she said, wrinkling her nose. "But the chicken with lemon was okay." "Greg brings variety," I said. "He'll bring you something from the grill this week if you ask." "He already told me," she said, pretending she wasn't pleased. "Ribs. Don't tell my cardiologist." We were on our second apple when the door opened and Krista came in with a reusable tote bumping against her knee. Practical stuff clinked. A refill of dish soap, trash bags, a pack of the good crackers Mom likes, and the pill organiser Natalia had dropped off, now labelled in fresh Sharpie. "Hey!" Krista said to me, softer than last week. No exclamation point. "Hey!" I stood to rinse the knife. She set the tote down and pulled out a lemon like it was a joke they now shared. "How was brunch?" she asked, tucking hair behind her ear. "Good," I said. "We split an omelette." She nodded like she understood that it was the point. She didn't apologise again, not directly, but she moved to the fridge and tapped the square with her name on next Friday's clinic follow-up like a promise. "I'll get her there. I put it on my classroom calendar too. Dr. Singh will be impressed you know the parking hack," I said. She snorted. "I learned. Don't go at the top of the hour." We didn't hug. We didn't avoid eyes either. She opened the pill organiser, checked the PM row, and put it back in the top drawer. I dried the knife and slid it into its slot by the stove without narrating where it went. I took a minute in the doorway before I left. The jar was real, the calendar was real, and the quiet felt like a shared thing instead of a weight in my chest. Mum waved me off with an apple slice in her hand. "Go enjoy your Sunday," she said, and it didn't sound like a test. In the car, I reached into the glove box and slid the old manila envelope of receipts inside, behind my registration. The flap was still soft at the crease where I'd opened it by the punch bowl. I didn't throw it away. It's proof I wasn't making it up, and it's a reminder I don't have to go back to the version of me that did everything silently because I was closest. On my drive home, the Civic's AC wheezed like always. I counted the lights out of habit and didn't speed. My phone buzzed once. Gregory sending a photo of Mom on his porch later. A plate of ribs balanced on her knee, Quinn in the background pretending not to look. I hearted it and put the phone back down. I went upstairs to my apartment and let the afternoon be what it was. I folded my own towels. I planned a grocery run for my week on the calendar and nothing more. I sat by the window with a book and my parking lot view and thought about lemon juice as a substitute and all the small, boring structures we'd built to make the hard parts livable. Sundays are mine again. The rest of the week has a plan. That's enough.